Okay, so this is the start of a new recording session. We're going to get into Forgotten Gods. I have just eaten a lot of pulled pork and cheesy bread, so I am... sedate is a good word. I don't know if my controller is going to work right since I didn't have it on. Okay. Tell you what. Gonna keep this in. Gonna keep it real. Okay. Alrighty. You know, I got some rechargeable batteries, finally. See, now the right thumbstick does the thing. That's how you know your controller's working right, is if the right thumbstick will do the mouse. Anyway, back here with one button man. I think the next playthrough, like, main topic thing I'm gonna do is gonna be Dark Souls 3. Just because I kind of want to play Dark Souls 3, but I have a weird idea for that. You'll see. Well, whenever I get through the Forgotten Gods stuff, which I'm gonna begin now. Now, we had some stuff, and look, we're just gonna forget about that for a minute. Also, crap, I need to go get my phone. One sec. Hold on. Hold on. Get my nasal stuff sorted out while I was across the room. Alright. No harm, no foul. At least I don't think there's any birds in here. Look, I have to at least commit to one pun a day. It's my fitness program, my mental fitness program. Alright. Stupid jokes aside, I am getting that Luzafus Steam guide up, the Shrines Steam guide. I am so full of cheesy bread I missed the letter R and typed in Shines, which I'm not looking for a word that doesn't exist. Okay, devotion shrines. I'm gonna go look at the wiki page too, have that up and ready. It helps to have both. I have some Diet Coke here, and I think that's part of my nasal issues, somehow. Okay, so the first one is at the Temple of Osir. Okay. Well, let's get there first. So, hello, the emissary.
Ah, we speak at last. As I am sure you know, there are many who now cast their gaze upon you, traveler. Or should I say, taken. Some who mean you ill. Some who fear your potential. Then, there are those who command me. They have taken great interest in your accomplishments. It appears you may be just the one we require.
You require me for what?
I cannot speak of such things in this place. The cursed gaze of our foes is cast upon us here, so I will be brief. Great powers are gathering within the distant lands of the fallen Corvan people. And the Great Eye has decreed that you must play a part, whatever that may be. Will you answer our summons? Will you join me through the portal? Or do the mortal concerns of these people outweigh the calls of fate.
Where is this land of the Corvin people?
Far to the east, beyond mountains and rivers, weeks of travel by foot, a mere instant through an eldritch gate. My masters have granted me the means to return there, but only if accompanied by you. I will not fail in this task.
That stinks. Yeah, you know, we'll send you there in an instant, but you can only come back if you bring the guy that we're sending you to go get. Like, well, what if he says no? Who cares? Bye! It's just like, what? Wait, no! Alright, who are these masters of yours?
I am sorry, I cannot say more here. All you need to know is that you have mutual interests and the same enemies. But if we work together, we can triumph where the individual cannot.
Okay, man. Sure. I don't like that our guy says I'll trust you, because that's not really what we're doing here. It's more like, I'll humor you. I've killed the Ligorian and I've killed the Flesh Master guy, Flesh Master Fresh at the city of Malmuth, so by this point, I mean, it makes sense that our character doesn't really feel exactly threatened. And this is how you start the Forgotten Gods stuff. And we're in the desert. That's the thing I remember the most of this expansion, is that it's all in the desert. And yeah, you can immediately return, by the way. It's not a big deal. Like, you literally can just go right back to what you were doing. I didn't want to come here because, A, it would ruin that. Like, for anyone who somehow is watching this for the, like, playing through or watching Grim Dawn for the first time, I didn't want to ruin the fact that, yeah, there's no consequence to it. You can just come right back. Also, I didn't want to spoil that, like, yeah, it's that this is the theme, this is what it looks like, etc. Anyway, what's up?
So, you have come, as the Oracle of Dreeg had foreseen. But are you truly prepared for what's in store for you in this forsaken land?
Can anybody really truly be prepared for anything? Anyway, what is this place?
You are in the Corvin Basin, a land ravaged by gods and man alike. A land whose secrets are now coveted by a determined few. As for this camp, this is the Conclave of the Three, a gathering of occultists, warlocks, and witches that serve the witch gods. Here the three cults set aside their disagreements and join as one against our mutual foes. Foes which threaten your existence as well, I might add.
The witch gods. Okay, I'm trying violently in my brain to come up with, like, a string of... Okay, so which gods are the you know... I'm going to stop that.
The three have decreed that I seek out worthy allies in our battle against a common foe. But are you indeed the one we seek? First, you must prove yourself.
Okay. What do I need to do?
Go to the center of the camp before the statues. Kanatha, mistress of the Sentinels, awaits you to begin the Eldritch rites. Conquer whatever horrors assault you from the Eldritch realm, and we shall have our answer.
May I ask a question?
In time, all your questions will have answers of their own. But first, the rites.
Okay, sure. I'll fight a bunch of grisly, gribbly monsters. A worthy purpose. Okay, so the thing you need to know about Soleil, Dreeg, and Bismiel is that Soleil is the nastiest one, Dreeg is just kind of a weirdo, and Bismiel is there's a certain C word that rhymes with the action a kicker takes in football, but the gist is that they're not like great, and if you look at, say, the star map, right? So first of all, you can see the Dreeg here, right, is represented by the Eye of Dreeg, Soleil is represented by the Witchblade, and Bismiel is represented by the Manacles. Note that Dreeg, Bismiel, and Soleil are not actually in the Pantheon. Like, these entities around the edge are and there's a reason why, like, you go here, you know, like, I'm gonna use my mouse for this. Like, if you go over these alignments, like, all of the lesser entities have an alignment, like, even if they require more than one affinity, they have, like, an alignment. Get the idea? So Eldritch here. So Ulzad, for instance, is Eldritch, but his affinity requirement has no Eldritch in it, right? Like, that's his affinity. Okay? Ascendant, yeah, but see, he has no Primordial, even though he has Primordial as part of his affinity. The reason I'm pointing this out is that this is a bit of, look, I'm not comparing myself to, like, Vati Vidya, but I am saying that this is kind of in the wheelhouse of what they do whenever they kind of go into extended lore stuff. My take on the reason why the Outer Pantheon doesn't have that happen is because they are powerful enough that they have transcended any one affinity. Does that make sense? Like, they are unto themselves their own entity. They're not, like... You get what I mean? Now, the reason why this is important is because Soleil, Dreeg, and Bismiel are not Outer Pantheon powerful, right? Like, that's worth noting for the rest of this, like, expansion. That they are the, quote, witch gods, end quote, but they're not actually, like, on the same level as actual, quote-unquote, deities like Mogdrogan, for instance. Where is he at? I don't think Mogdrogan... Yeah, like... Mogdrogan, he's not there, right? Leviathan, whatever that is not there. Atak Seru, Ratosh, Oleron... Like, these are names that, some of them have names that we, like, actually encounter during the main quest line, like Menhir. Menhir is in the soldiers, skills. Where is it? It's like Menhir's something or other. Like Menhir's will or something like that. Yeah, here it is. Like... They're not actual gods in the sense that they are not actual deific entities separated from, like, just mere ascendant entities. Like, the idea is that all of this stuff is crap that, in one way or another, like the boar or the crab, like, you could say that the crab and the boar, like, represent symbolically an abstract notion. I mean, it says right there, like, the autumn boar's arrival in the sky marks the beginning of a yada yada. Or, like, the crab marks the beginning of a fishing season. Like, this marks a season. This is another season. Like, this thing is a servant of Ratosh, like a quasi-deific entity that is ascended. Or the toad represents disorder. The owl represents wisdom. Like, they're either abstractions, like, abstractions such that the animal that depicts that abstraction is ascendant into the constellation, like, body of whatever. Or, like, Dreeg, like it says right here, that, like, they kind of show their, sort of, their background, each one of these. Like, Dreeg, Soleil, and Bismiel, they kind of show how they ascended, but the point is that they're, and I know it's taken me a while to get to here, but it's very important to key into that they are not actually, like, deific. They're not on the same level as Bog Drogon or Menhir or Empyrean, right? And there's a certain entity that we'll be looking at that's kind of a main focus of this entire DLC, who is in that pantheon, and I mean, you could probably figure it out yourself, but I'm not going to spoil who. And the fact that these three idiots are not actually on his level at all is a very important plot point to really consider. And I think it's really cool that it's represented in the interface. You know what I mean? I think that's really cool that it's represented in the constellation devotion chart thing. Anyway. Yeah, I mean, this stuff with Bismiel is just like... just goofy. So yeah, Bismiel is like Saturday morning cartoon villain levels, steepling their fingers and cackling as they're like, think Tzeentch. If you know Warhammer 40k, think the Justice Plan from the meme with Tzeentch. Like, that's Bismiel. Basically, Bismiel is budget, great value Tzeentch. Dreeg, the only thing I really remember about Dreeg is that he's kind of, like, think the guy who sits in the corner wearing, mascara, like, mumbling about how, you know, life is dark. That kind of entity. And, Soleil is just a murderer. Like, think Carnage from Spider-Man. Like, that kind of thing. Like, it's... Soleil's just a lust for power, like, murderer kind of guy. But all three of them are very worried about what's here in the Corvin Basin, and for good reason. Before I could utter a word, he said, Ugal. Yeah, that's bad. Yeah, by the way, homie Ugal right here. Again, notice the power differential between Chad Ugal and the Vergen, the Vergen Jurgen. It's because I said Ugal, but the Chad Ugal versus the Virgin Soleil, Dreeg, and Bismiel. Like, nah, fam. This is just a completely different axis of power. Okay, well, I'm not sure what Sphinxi have to do with any of this, but hey, whatever.
The emissary warned me of your coming, but whether you may remain here is not a matter of his choosing. I will decide who stays and who dies. Are you prepared to face the trials?
Yes, I am prepared to face the trials, person whose voice acting sounds like it was done in a room with, like, way too much... Well, what do you even call that? Like, hold on.
The emissary warned me of your coming, but whether you may remain here is not a matter of his choosing. I will decide who stays and who dies.
Like, do you hear that?
Are you prepared to face the trials?
Like, what is that called whenever you can hear, like, the sound? It's not like an echo, per se, but, like, you can hear the walls of the room are, like, bouncing the sound back just a little bit. Like, hold on.
The emissary warned me of your coming, but whether you may remain here is not a matter of his choosing. I will decide who stays and who dies. Are you prepared to face the trials?
Like, it doesn't sound like they're saying this, you know, in the desert. Like, it doesn't sound like they're saying that in this, like, weird, like, that you know, it doesn't sound like they're saying it in this environment. It sounds like they're saying it in a voice recording booth in a office. I'm gonna have to bleep that, in an office.
The emissary warned me of your coming, but whether you may remain here is not a matter of his choosing. I will decide who stays and who dies.
I mean, that was so.
To face the trials.
I mean, I blame the pulled pork and my my disbelief at that. I don't know, man. I'm not ragging on them too hard. I love, you know, everything about this game. It's just that just caught me off guard for some reason. Like, oh, that sounds like you're in an office. Like, oh yeah, I'm ready to begin the Eldritch office trials. I'm glad that I'm hated by Eldritch horrors. Okay. That's a lot of acid. Okay, well, first off, I want to level up. Now, I remember looking at one of the recordings and reminding myself, like, oh yeah, I wanted to push deadly momentum up, so I'm gonna do that. I forget what I said I was gonna do last time, but I want to get deadly momentum up, because it affects all attacks while active. So, yeah, definitely important.
The emissary was right, as usual. You have earned the right to stand among us in the real trials to come.
Okay, thanks, lady. And what trials are those?
Our battle against the fiery fury boiling beneath the sands, of course. A forgotten god stirs. An ancient enemy of mankind threatens to destroy us all. We must rise to face this threat before all is lost.
Yeah, especially the office building that you're in. Okay, so that's the Bismeal guy. I guess you could say that armor is probably Dreeg. I mean, they're basically like color-coded, yeah. The thing I forget is, because I'm kind of getting ahead of the story a little bit, but you have to choose between the three witch gods.
I could hear the battle from here. So then, are you ready to open your eyes to powers beyond imagining? To secrets better left uncovered?
So why did you bring me here?
Ah yes, ever driven by action. I admire your conviction. The fated hour is nearly upon us. Soon we shall strike as one against our formidable foe. But we cannot act brashly. Precautions must be taken. Each of the cults is preparing in their own way. Speak to the masters of the cults of Bismeal, Dreeg, and Salile. Learn of their methods and align yourself to one cause. Draelus, Basilla, and Sagon are already expecting you.
Okay, why must I choose one?
While we may be allies in this endeavor, the cults do not always see eye to eye.
To eye.
It is best for the sake of peace that you assist only one of the cults. Do not be concerned, though. The others will not see you as a foe for your decision. Not here. Besides, you may not find all the methods we employ agreeable. Speak to the cult leaders, learn of their ways, and make your choice.
And which do you belong to?
When I first stood before the witch gods, I said to them that I shall serve in this life, and the next if need be. But I shall only ever serve the three. Not Bismeal, not Dreeg, not Salile. And so, I am the herald of the gods, the one who spreads their message and finds worthy allies. All the cults look to my guidance. Even the gods have sought my counsel in the past.
Yeah, so basically he's the guy who's, he's like the Grand Secretary, and I'm not saying that in some kind of, like, off-putting, like, haha, he's a secretary. No, I mean, like, secretary in the, like... Like in the literal, you know, he's the guy who does the accounting, right? Like he's the guy that they go to who does like he's the link between the all three of them and like you can see the role that he's doing. I mean, he's literally called the emissary. But the point is that yeah, he's not like actually a guy that you have to really concern yourself with. As regards any of this stuff. So here's a Sagon, Vicar of Soleil.
You show promise. Perhaps you would be of value to Soleil. It remains to be seen if the emissary was right about you.
Okay. Alright, Cobra Commander, you serve Soleil. Why should I help you?
Soleil does not need your help, but that does not mean we cannot benefit.
Okay, great, thanks. I'm glad he doesn't need my help. We'll just continue. Next one. Hey man, that's all I needed to hear. Life lesson, if you want somebody's help, don't start by telling them that you don't need their help.
The weeping spines do not lie. You have come to fragment the memories of the forgotten. But who will stand by your side? Will you step into the spider's web? Or will you kindle the flame? Or perhaps you will weep for the eye that sees all.
So this is Drelius, Oracle of Drieg. We'll talk to him in a second because for some reason I'm remembering that I went with them, and I'm probably just going to do that just because I did it the last time, and I think I know why I went with them. So that's a Soleil guy. And by the way, you can't leave until you do this. Where's the... here we go. Now, if I remember right, yes, this is the lady you saw on the Malmuth artwork. There's a funny story behind why she's here, and yet was on the Malmuth, like, loading screen card, but anyway.
You've been quite a sight since entering our camp. I'm shivering with anticipation for what's next. But will you be at my side? Or would you rather waste your time on the minions of Drieg and Soleil?
So this is Basila, Matron of Rifts. She's the Bismiel lady. Sir Bismiel, why should I help you?
My dear, who needs to see the future when you can manipulate it from the shadows? Soleil would have you play with fire and get burnt. But Bismiel offers you the true gifts of the Eldritch realm. Every hound, every raven, every fiend that's ever crossed the Veil can and will serve the schemer. All are bound within the web. No move can be made without tugging at the strings. Until finally, the spider strikes.
Bismiel is a spider?
Bismiel is like a Dreadweave widow. Sultry, manipulative, and deadly. But no, she is...
Okay. Yeah, we're going with the Drieg people because they at least aren't long-winded.
The weeping spines, much purpose flows within you. Allow me to temper that potential. Through the great Guardian's eyes, we shall divine the true path beyond humanity's struggles. Let the others play with their eldritch toys and arcane spectacles. It falls upon us to strike the balance.
What can you tell me about Drieg?
Drieg is the oldest of the witch gods.
Okay, bro, I didn't actually want to know.
The weeping spines do much purpose.
Sure, I'll work with you.
I spoke of this moment.
Yeah,
We
sure,
must
of course you
not
did.
Squander it. We shall carve a fate not even the primordial one can foresee.
Okay.
I shall open my ears to the will of the great Guardian and exact his commands. A great flame burns within the temple, and we will drown it in tides of blood. The forgotten has become unforgotten, and so it falls to us to remedy that error. As for you, you must speak to Kira here at my camp. She has been offered a taste of what's still to come. Her tongue will utter the words, and you must heed their call as if they were mine.
Okay, man, you could just say, like, she'll tell you what to do, she's my subordinate, her word is basically as good as mine. Like, what's so hard about that?
Well, look what we've got here.
Well, I see you've made your decision, choosing to pledge your loyalty to the witch gods. Here they take that kind of thing very seriously around here. Okay, which do you serve? What, me? I don't serve any of them. I serve the god of making Riggs a wealthy man. Excellent. So what are you doing here? Well, I'm what you might call a supplier, a purveyor of particular goods, if you will. I have a special talent for finding high-end and difficult-to-acquire objects. Things this crew here can't seem to get enough of, particularly since they set out on their little crusade here. Something about a long-forgotten god and the end of the world or some such. Sounds like business as usual to me. A wise man once said, where there's a fight, there's a fortune to be made. Who said that? Me, you fool, I just said that. It was a joke, you see. Okay, so you're a merchant? Well, that's an oversimplification. You see those other trash peddlers down there? They've got it all wrong. Selling goods for iron bits is a child's game. A man isn't going to get rich playing games. No, my friend, I trade only the finest goods. For favors. Favors from very powerful people. Favors that I'll be cashing in when I see fit. So you just give them things? No, I don't think you're listening to what I'm saying here. I give them things in exchange for favors. They're in my debt. They owe me, you see? There's people all across this land that owe me, from emperors to dung sifters. The living, the dead, it makes no difference. They're in my debt, and when I need it most, I'm going to come calling. That's wealth right there. Yeah, how do you make them pay you? Ah, that's the genius of it right there. So many people across this land are in my debt, you never know who they might be or what they might be capable of. Say I make a deal with a wealthy merchant, and later on when I come to collect my debt, he doesn't feel like paying. I pleasantly remind him that there's a lot of other folks looking to make good on their debts, and then leave him to think about who else might owe me, and what they might be willing to do to pay up. That usually works. If it doesn't, I just get one of my other debtors to come and tune him up a bit. Sometimes you need to send a message to anyone else who might be thinking about defaulting on their debt. But most folks are glad to pay up when it comes time. It's a relief of sort. Yeah. That sounds like the kind of cartoonish scheme that actually doesn't work.
The skies weep blood and the earth rages beneath us. Where do we stand in this war of titans? I am to tell you of what the Great Guardian desires. Will you hear me?
Does everybody worshipping Drieg speak like this?
If you were blessed by the kiss of destiny, you too would make peace with her silken tongue. The gift we bear is a heavy burden. Not all are fit to transcend its meanings.
So what needs to be done?
Our seers sing guiding words. A path has revealed itself which we must follow. Visions of horrific beings, servants of the great fury known only as Korvac, have manifested within the Corvin Basin. If our task is to succeed, we must vanquish these foes before they form the hammer of Korvac's anvil. Travel to the Temple of Osir to the north, and hunt down Okaloth's Unchained. Then proceed northwest to the Corvin Sands, and deal with the packhounds of Galfang. Finally, you must venture to the Karen Docks, north of the Sands, and deal with the Guardians of Ishtal.
I will deal with these horrors. Finally. Now, they mentioned a certain name there. And I'm just going to go ahead and skip to that. Korvac, the Eldritch Sun. Notice where that's at. That's at the very top of the Pantheon. I hope you're kind of getting an idea of why these three would band together to deal with this, right?
Traveler, can you spare a minute?
Sure, what do you need? It's my brothers. I was supposed to meet them back here last night, but they haven't shown up yet. We split up yesterday morning outside the Karen docks to the north. There's a temple under the ruins there. They couldn't leave it alone, just had to go for one more. The two of them just can't control themselves. Who am I fooling? I would have been right there with them, but I was already loaded up with as much as I could carry. I told them to meet me back here. That was the last I heard of either of them. I'd go back out there and look for them myself, but I should stay here in case they come back. If you're headed out past the wall, will you keep an eye out for them? They've got to be somewhere between here and the Karen docks. I'll find your brothers. Okay. So here we actually get out into the Corvin Plateau. And there's dinosaurs. I do remember that. There are dinosaurs and dung beetles. Giant man-eating dung beetles. I guess they want to hurry up and get the dung, like, out of you. Like, they don't want to wait. they want it now. The music's good. So, yep. This is the start of the Forgotten Gods campaign.
That skill's not ready.
Gonna go ahead and let the music and environment kind of breathe for a minute. You know, it is kind of funny that I'm hitting dinosaurs with meteors. It would be cool if they had, like, a weakness to meteors. I'm not saying they need that. I'm just saying it would be funny. Yeah, the environment's really good. I mean, it's not really surprising given that it's, you know, crate entertainment. Like, you've seen all the stuff that they've done with the game so far, if you're this far into the series. If not, you know, if you do watch the rest of this playthrough, like if somehow you got to this video first, like, the whole game is like this. And it's not shocking at all that the environment's top-notch, that the sound design's great.
Can't do that yet.
As far as the enemies so far, we're not really seeing anything that's too novel yet, but trust me, the enemies get new and they get difficult really, really fast at a certain point coming up soon. But for now, we've got just like the addition of dinosaurs, which, I don't know, man. I'm not one of those people, but I do kind of like dinosaurs. And, I mean, as much as your average person does. So I think they kind of add a good quality to anything, right? Like, Turok would not be Turok without the Velociraptors, right? And if you think about it, xenomorphs are kind of dinosaur adjacent. I don't know. I know Magic the Gathering really benefited from dinosaurs. Honestly, it's a shock that it took that long for dinosaurs to be a thing in Magic the Gathering whenever they first showed up.
That skill's not ready.
So, we're not really too far into anything yet. By the way, one of the reasons why I'm going to be like going all around each map is because I don't remember. I mean, I've said it enough times, but it's worth repeating that I don't really remember the DLC too much, and I only got, if I remember right, I got to this part right here, to the Sunbane Oasis, like right after that, and realized how much was left, and just kind of, you know, didn't play the rest of the DLC. So once we get to, like I said, about here-ish, past that is stuff that I have no idea what's going on or what's ahead of me. But I do remember that in this first half, there are some, like at least one of these rift gates is not easily discovered. If I'm not I mean, I could be misremembering, but I do remember that there's a rift gate that I missed the first time I played through, and like whenever I looked it up, I was just kind of like, oh, I had to actually walk around the area to find that. But I mean, also, the other reason is just, as usual, getting more XP. And it's just showing off the environment, really. Probably gonna cut the video here after I finish with this area, like this path, because I gotta edit out that F-bomb. I'm not always going to, mind you, like, but there are, I mean, obviously it's at my discretion, but there are times like that where it's like, you know, I didn't really mean to drop an F-bomb casually. Alright, we're gonna go back, and then I'm going to cut the video however long it's been, and I don't know, maybe go get something other than Diet Coke to drink. I'm thinking tea, but I have more than one kind of tea in the fridge at the moment. So yeah, we might as well talk to these guys first. Good to see you're still in the fight, brother. It seems our efforts in the Blood Grove weren't enough to stop Father Kaiman and his band of zealots. So we find ourselves chasing him through this forsaken wasteland on his mad quest to resurrect the forgotten god. Have we met before? Yes, we have. This is Master Harkin of Death's Vigil. No, but we hail from the same banner. You did a great service to the Order of Death's Vigil back in Sara's Bastion in the Blood Grove. Because of this, there are many brothers of the Order who have heard of you. We are in your debt. Glad I could help. Sadly, our battle with Father Kaiman and his fanatics didn't end there. We tried to warn the Black Legion of his folly, but alas, they are occupied with the Chthonian and ethereal threats. No one would believe a lone fanatic could be so dangerous. And why would they? With all the unimaginable horrors that now roam Cairn, one crazy old man doesn't seem like a credible threat. Yet here we are. What do you know about Father Kaiman? Truthfully, I know very little about the man, but his story is a tragic one. Despite the effort he and his army of zealots put into hunting down our order, I still have empathy for him. I truly believe he thought he could save us all, thought he was doing what he needed to be done, thought he was doing what needed to be done to save Cairn. But I fear he was misled from the very beginning, used as a tool of revenge by a spiteful entity that wanted nothing more than to punish this realm and all who inhabit it. I can only imagine what promises it made to Kaiman under the guise of Empyrean, what lies it fed him to maintain his faith. You mean Korvac? Yes, we now know the truth behind Kaiman's lunacy, a forgotten god that forged a new faith under the guise of Empyrean. All of Kaiman's chosen are mere pawns in the machinations of primordial beings that do not care about us in the least. We are as insects, insignificant to their plans. How ironic that humanity was exactly what Korvac required to return. We'll stop him. And with that, I'm going to maybe go get one of two kinds of tea. Be right back.